What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of my little mixology show, Rob the Rich, Free the Poor. Happy to be coming to you once again to share some cocktails with you. Beautiful downtown Long Beach, California. This week's episode is all about skinny tiki cocktails. Tiki cocktails. You know, there's a little bit of a, I'm going to be honest, a little bit of a cultural appropriation kind of a thing going on. But this is a great book. If you're interested in learning about all things tiki, check out Smuggler's Cove. You can get this on Amazon. It is very reasonable, and it's a great book to kind of learn about this genre of cocktails and how it has had an impact on American culture. I myself was a Disneylander back in the day. I worked on the Jungle Cruise, and actually the first attraction that I was ever trained on was the Enchanted Tiki Room. So I have a fondness in my heart for all things tiki. It looks like Mr. Newman is with us today. Thank you, Eric, for joining me live. So anyway, let's get into these. Let me take one more little sip of my pre-game old-fashioned. All right, I don't know where I'm going to put this thing. All right, we'll put it right behind on the back bar with the Old Forester. All right, so one of the things that I thought I would do with these, so tiki cocktails are traditionally made with a lot of syrups and a lot of fruit juices, and they tend to be rather sweet. So I thought, let's lower the sugar. Let's make sure we're not adding any added sugar. I use all fresh squeezed juices in all my cocktails. I don't use anything processed, so that definitely lowers the sugar content. But the first one that I'm going to share with you today, I just created it this morning, and I'm calling it the PPC Mimosa because it has fresh pineapple juice. Let me mix it up a little bit. It has this is a low sugar pomegranate syrup that I made. So in a saucepan, just half a cup of sugar, 1 cup of water, and fresh pomegranate. Boil it up, strain it off, and you get this beautiful loveliness. Okay, so we're just gonna add some ice. I don't have a champagne flute because they tend to break around here at Casa de Shetland, so we don't have champagne flutes around here. So I'm just going to use kind of a highball there to a high wine glass. So 1 ounce of fresh pineapple juice. This is a very refreshing, very very light, very brunch worthy cocktail. I've got 3/4 of an ounce. I'm only going to go 3/4 of an ounce of my low sugar, once again, fresh pomegranate syrup. And then we're going to top it with champagne. So this is the one I made this morning. We had a little bit of champagne, but this is an extra dry Prosecco. If you're looking to lower the calories and lower the sugar, use a dry brut champagne. So the Prosecco has a little bit of residual sugar, so it actually will make the cocktail taste good, but it will still have just a wee bit of sugar in it. So we're going to top that with champagne. I think it's got a beautiful color. And then I'm going to garnish it with a little fresh grapefruit on the side. So here's our, I'm just calling it the PPC Mimosa. We can call it whatever we want, but I think it's got kind of a nice presentation. Cheers. Oh, that's terrible. PPC stands for pineapple and pomegranate and champagne. So you guys can call it something else if you'd like. It is what it is. Oh, Luke, how are you? One of my the Vanguard Cadets kids from years past. Good to see you, my man. Luke Tessier. All right. So, all right, the most classic of all tiki cocktails is something called the Mai Tai. It was invented by Trader Vic. Long story about who that guy is. Trader Vic is not, or actually Don the Beachcomber, Trader Vic. Around Los Angeles there and in San Francisco, there were these two guys that were creating this sort of tiki cocktails, and they had all these secret syrups and all this stuff, and they were very closely guarded syrups and secrets. And the Smuggler's Cove book that I mentioned earlier, let me bring it out once again. I should have it as a reference. So if you're interested in any of this tiki stuff, get this book. Read this book. It'll tell you about all things. Yeah, please do stir it. Yeah, it looked cool. Go ahead and stir that. Got a live audience today. So at any rate, check this out. It has the whole story about all things tiki, and it'll teach you a lot. But the Mai Tai, in its original form, is it's not high sugar, but it's certainly got some sugar in it. But I think I figured out a little bit of workaround. So we're going to start with 2 ounces. This is Flor de Cana rum. You want to use usually when I make my Mai Tais, I do 1 ounce of a light rum, and then I do 1 ounce of like a really dark, like a Gosling's, like a 151 rum. But we're just going to do 2 ounces of this. This is a really nice rum. I think it has a distinct sort of grassy flavor profile to it that I think will pair nicely with everything that we're trying to do. So we're going to go 2 ounces of this rum in there. And then traditionally in the Mai Tai, you would use this stuff. This is almond syrup or orgeat syrup, but it's kind of high in sugar. So instead, we are going to use Amaretto de Serrano, which is also an almond, but it's an almond liqueur. So it's got extra booze in it, you guys. So I think that's a good thing, okay? So we're going to do just half an ounce. So we're going to go easy on the sweetie stuff, okay? So half an ounce of our Amaretto de Serrano. And you guys, there's the commercial that says, you know, de Serrano on the rocks. Try it. It's amazing. It's so good. All right, I'm going to set that aside. 3/4 of an ounce. I fresh squoze this morning. I do all my juices. They are all fresh. 3/4 of an ounce fresh lime juice. And then we're going to use half an ounce of an orange liqueur. This is a naranja orange liqueur, which is kind of a bootleg Cointreau. It is lower in sugar, so we're going to use half an ounce of that. Top that in there. So it's a pretty simple cocktail. There's not much to it. I do highly suggest everybody. Oh, Mr. Grogan, good to see you, sir. Thanks for joining me. I do suggest that you chill your glassware in the freezer. I don't chill them for this show because I want you guys to see how things look, and I just think it looks better. The optics are better. So, you know, chill your glassware unless you're doing a YouTube show or a Facebook show or whatever you want to call it. All right, we're going to shake this bad boy up. Traditionally, it is not served on the rocks. You could if you want, but I don't. I usually use a chilled, you can use a chilled old-fashioned glass, you can use a chilled martini glass. We're going to pour this bad boy in there. Look at that. And you guys, if anyone's live, let me know about the sound quality. I got a desktop mic that I was using during the dark days of Zoom. Hopefully the sound will be a little bit better than last time. Last time was really loud on this new setup with the laptop. So just let me know, you guys, if the volume is okay, because I can actually adjust this microphone. It's, you know, if you need me louder, softer, whatever. And we're just going to garnish it with a little bit of fresh lime on the side. So this is the Skinny Mai Tai. Cheers. Yeah, that's good. It's not at all. Come on. It's not at all as sweet as. Stop it. It's not as sweet. My bar back is getting feisty. It is not as sweet as the traditional. I'm doing a live show, Gracie. Can we, you know, say goodnight, Gracie? All right, check that out. Have her give that a whirl. So, you know, if you use the orgeat syrup, it's sweeter, and it has a more classic Mai Tai taste. But with the amaretto, it still has a good. It still tastes legit. You know, just like when you make a skinny margarita, of course it doesn't taste exactly the same because you're not adding excessive sweetening ingredients. All right, the next one, I think I've really come up with a good hack. A lower sugar, not totally, you know, absent of sugar, but a lower sugar painkiller. Painkiller is one of the other classic, classic cocktails. Oh, good. Okay, so we are... Okay, sound is good. Thank you, Mr. Grogan. I had to scroll down. I'm on my laptop now, so it doesn't pop up. I had to scroll down there. Okay, so what we're going to do is... So this Coco Real stuff is very sweet. This is a coconut cream. So instead of the usual, 3/4 to a full ounce, we're only going to use a 1/2 ounce of this stuff. Just a little bit in there, just to get that coconut flavor for the painkiller. And then, because the stuff doesn't come out, I'm going to use, and for this, I'm going to spice this one up. So I'm going to use, this is a spiced rum, so I'm going to use 1 ounce of a St. Martin. This is a spiced rum that we hardly use, and we're going to be moving soon, so I'm trying to blow out some of these alcohol bottles to make the move a little bit easier to manage. And then we're going to do another ounce of our Flor de Cana golden, beautiful, delicious rum. So 2 ounces of rum. And then, what do we need? We need some pineapple juice. Now the original calls for 1.5 ounces, so I made one of these earlier. We're only going to do 1 ounce. So we're trying to, go easy on the sugary parts. Obviously pineapple juice has the most. And then fresh squeezed orange juice. So it's not from concentrate. There's no added sugar. It's still a little bit of citrus. So we're going to drop that in there. Please stop with the choreography. I am busy. Okay. All right, so let me check. We got my rum, got my pineapple, got my orange, got my cream of coconut. Now for this one, we're going to do what's called a whip shake. So just put a little bit of ice, okay, in your mixing deal. And if you can blend a painkiller, but I prefer to use, I have some crushed ice here. And so this is the best way to do it. So what we're going to do is I'm trying to do a live show. Please stop. All right. So but you're not on the camera. So get out of my way. All right. So this is a whip shake. Instead of like flash blending, like, so if you had one of those, like, what you call? If you had like a milkshake blender and you could just go whoop, whoop, and you kind of blend it like that, just to blend things up really quick.
Is the whip shake like the whip snap?
It could be. I don't know. Why don't you look it up? All right. So what I like to do with this particular bad boy is to put it in your cocktail glass first. I'm going to use a tumbler or a highball glass. We're going to fill it with crushed ice. What's really cool about doing it this way is you can really pack the ice in there real good. Okay? Yeah. All right. And then we're just going to dress it up with a whole bunch of fruit. Let's put some lime on there. And there she is. All right. Now she's on camera.
It's a little off center.
My wife and I... No, it's not. My wife and I... Stop it. My wife and I are both people that just love the stage. And for some reason, there's a stage, and so I just can't get her away from it. So, we got a lime. We've got a little... what did I put on there? We got a little grapefruit. And I'm going to garnish it with a Dr. Seuss looking straw. So here is a lower sugar painkiller. Cheers. The camera's right there. You want to look at the camera. That's right there.
I was hoping for the straw.
Mmm. That's good. It still tastes like a painkiller and it's less sugar. Mmm. That's money. Try that. That's pretty good. Let's see what my lovely but distracting barback / taste tester says. Indeed. All right. The last one, and I'm proud of this one, is, and speaking of my lovely wife, she came up with the name for this the other night. I was thinking to myself, all right, so if I'm making a tiki style cocktail, why don't I make something like an old-fashioned, but let's make it with rum instead of bourbon, right? So this may already be a thing. I don't know. So if anyone is watching the show now or ends up seeing the show in the future, and you've heard of this cocktail that I'm about to show you, and you say, "Oh, dude, that's this." Great. Share with me what the name is. Ooh, I forgot my rad ice cube. 1 second. So I harvested my own ice the other day. I do clear ice, and if you check, there's a description on here. You can check out my website and also my YouTube channel, and it'll show you how to make this. You can make beautiful crystal clear ice for your cocktail glasses. So here's our glass. It'll be ready to go with our big rock, so to speak. So to create this old fashioned, old fashions are usually really simple. Usually they start with a sugar cube or a little bit of simple syrup, some bitters, and then your base spirit, which is usually bourbon or rye. And so we're going to do kind of a similar thing. I am going to use the orgeat syrup, the almond, but I'm not going to use a lot of it because you do have to have the sweetening agent. So we're going to use about 1/4 ounce of our orgeat syrup or almond syrup, right? We'll put that in there. And then we're going to do a couple of dashes of Angostura bitters. Drop that into our mixing glass there. Ooh, I'm going to need some more Ango pretty soon. And then I'm going to do a couple of dashes of orange bitters. Pop that in there. So that's that part. And then we're going to do 2 ounces of rum. So instead of bourbon. So this is it's a rum old fashioned, or in this case, so Jenny came up with the name, the My Old Fashioned, M-A-I. This is the M-A-I, My Old Fashioned, like a Mai Tai, but an old fashioned. She came up with this the other night when I made it, and I said, hey, I think this is going to be on the show. And she rather brilliantly came up with the name, so I thought that was cool. So we're going to drop some ice in there to stir it up. And then with a traditional old fashioned, you would use like a lemon peel or orange peel, maybe some cherry, stuff like that. But I'm just going to put a lime wedge in there and squeeze it over like a gin and tonic, because lime and tiki go together. Sorry, that was close to the microphone. That may have been some really loud stuff there. So you want to stir that up, get some nice good dilution with all of our ingredients, and we're going to strain this into our beautiful old-fashioned glass with our nice glacier-esque looking big rock here. Look at that beautiful color. Looks like that amber stuff they made the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park out of. And then I'm going to squeeze a lime in there and drop it in. So here's the My Old Fashioned, M-A-I. Cheers. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like it. I mean, like I was having a regular one right before. Let's do a side by side. So I've got, this is a standard old fashioned. This is Angostura bitters. I didn't put any orange bitters in it. Old Forester and a sugar cube, and then the standard orange peel. So you do get the orange citrus notes on the nose, which is what I love about the old fashioned. But let's do a side by side really quick. The bitters really come through. You definitely taste the bourbon. You got the citrus bite, and there's a lot of orange peel in the Angostura bitter, so that definitely comes through. This is sweeter, but so this might be, if you're interested in an old fashioned, make one with rum instead. Oh, that rum. So I tasted just like a scant 1/4 ounce of this by itself before I started the show tonight, because I'd never had this rum. I got this at our Vaughn's in downtown Long Beach, and it was like $18. This is like close to $25 at Total Wine and More. So take a look, at your local stores. Sometimes they have a lot of really great things. So obviously it's sweeter. We use the almond syrup, but this is delightful, you guys. It works really well. So this is the My Old Fashioned, last one. Cheers. Oh, well, that was great. So thanks again for tuning in once again to Rob the Rich, Free the Poor. I've got my new apron, which designed by my lovely wife, and then the graphics are all done. All the actual design, the concept was Jen's, but our son Nathan, who has his own design company, Nathan Shetland Designs, a little shout out to him, and then our friend Amanda has the company to do the printing. So check out my website if you want to see any of the specs for any of my cocktails that I've made in the last month or so. I put all those up there, and check out my YouTube channel, please, if you'd like to see some of the shows that I've done in the past. I take the video and I will put the specs for all these cocktails in there. So that's the My Old Fashioned if you'd like to try that. No show next week because we're going to be on the road. We get to go to Sequoia National Park with some friends of ours. Yay, nature, love. But in 2 weeks, and it's on a different day and probably the same time. It might be later, we'll see. But Wednesday, July 21st, I will be at Casa de Graves, the house of my good friend Steve Graves in Cypress, California. He has a great backyard location, and he has invited me to do a road show in his backyard in honor of some friends who are finishing up their master's program at the American Band College. I believe it's in Oregon now, and so we're going to do a cocktail special called the ABCs in honor of our friends who are going to the ABC Band College. And so that'll be on July 21st. Thanks again for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.